Ever since about, I'd say, a year and a half ago now, with the Vanessa Guillen situation, it looks like the military and the Army specifically has paid close attention to missing people, especially as criticism has risen, as it's been noted, especially over the Fort Hood area where there's been a lot of missing soldiers. But this case had a different turn in which it looks like Specialist Michaela Nelson has come to the surface again after being missing for 1 month. Has been reported across TikTok, Instagram, various other pages where people are willing to put their necks out to put the word out in order to make sure that these people are found and that the awareness is out there. I saw this over the past month, people talking about it, and I was thinking to myself, man, I wonder what happened to this girl. This shouldn't be another issue. Now, in Michaela's story, it does look like she was stranded somewhere on the road in her Dodge Charger, which was broken down over in Columbus, Ohio, which was the last place she was noted to be. It does look like a deputy did stop to go talk to her and said that she was in a tough spot in her life, but nothing really else came from that. When you look at this situation, it has more context because it appears that she was part of a recruit sustainment program where she had attended the AIT school, her basic technical school, and she attended the advanced individual training for the religious affairs specialist over at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That is where all this occurs, even for the Navy, other branches that have similar jobs like this. Now, according to some other reports that I've seen on this, it looks like she had a TikTok where she talked with people about her process of attending officer candidate school, which I can't find that TikTok right now. It looks like that's been taken down, but she did address concerns of her failing the officer candidate program, which it looks like she didn't make it through. And on top of that, it looks like she did have a husband over the past year or so that they end up having a divorce, and only 4 months later, she did experience that, remarried already. But this is the Army, where very much this story sounds traditional. She drives a Dodge Charger. She has turmoil with her husband, right, and marries quickly right after. But that is not the only cherry on top, and this has garnered a lot of empathy and sympathy for Specialist Nelson here, because it looks like her mother also did pass away from cancer earlier this year, and she attended the funeral, and it looks like she had a very tough time. Now, it does look like her father was the one that did do the report on this missing persons, and they were looking for her the entire month. There was nothing that came out about this, and there are some statements since she has been found. They say, "We are relieved to hear today Specialist Michaela Nelson has been found," Stephanie Boger, the Ohio National Guard spokeswoman, said on Tuesday. And they said she is a valued member of the Ohio National Guard and her health and safety are a top priority. Now, obviously, this is a very textbook statement, as they're going to probably investigate, get more information before any true judgments are made. There are people that do think that there should be accountability held on this situation because they're claiming AWOL, but I don't want to rush too far into that. The Guard has a very different way of handling things versus active duty, how many days, etc., as that's a contention point here. He is then cited saying, "You go through a divorce, there's a lot of grief. It's like a death almost as well. And that was a year ago when the divorce was finalized." And then he says, "And then losing her mother a few months ago to breast cancer and then getting evicted from an apartment." When you talk about mental health related things, obviously change in jobs, change in relationship statuses, change in where you live. All of these are major, massive changes. And to kind of hit you as a whirlwind is definitely going to be a hard time, no matter how tough or resilient you are. Some context here, as we've seen some adjustments made due to the Fort Hood situation, and it does look like they've created some more official guidance that's required certain questions to be asked and brought up to try and find the whereabouts and when to actually report someone that is missing. I'm not sure if the Guard was notified after the dad actually did his official record of this over with the police, if there was any communication there, because she is military. But I will say a few notes from this. First off, yes, take care of mental health. I'm never going to be a person that is against that. But I will also give context here. She is a religious personnel specialist type person where they do this type of stuff and they interact with people in dire situations like this on a regular basis. And this is trained even at their AIT basic training on intervention programs, what you should do, things like that. I would say most people, I would be like, they don't have that knowledge or know-how or whereabouts of all the resources. Whereas someone like this has very much known those resources, understood that they're available to them, and also knows how to access them. And obviously we got to take care of ourselves too. And the reason why I also say my sympathetic side of this is there is obviously medical side to things and administrative side of things, right? I can't go do substances and say, oh, I did them because I'm really depressed, and then be like, do you forgive me just because of that? You know, there still has to be some level of accountability, and where the command is going to handle that, especially on the reserve side, is going to make this a very interesting case. And to cover some of those comments, Richard McAroy says she was AWOL and hiding, and someone finally found her. Very sorry she failed OCS, but this distracted everyone from real missing soldiers. Do we only value missing soldiers that truly, you know, have a bad ending? We are always hoping for this situation of Michaela to be a positive one, right? Like, as we are searching for somebody, we want this to be the case. And if somebody is having this mental breakdown or whatever else, that will be the primary thing. Secondary will obviously be the administrative, like I said, but I don't want to go on and be like, oh, we should only focus on real cases, because she was going through a difficult time. Drew Cantor writes, the girl was recently divorced and just lost her mother to cancer. Sounds like she had a mental health crisis. I feel for her, but also sounds like she isn't duty fit at this time and is a liability. Best to give her papers and send her on her way. My criticism with this is if we throw away every soldier, airman, marine, sailors, guardians out there that are going to be in a situation just because they have one hiccup and they don't really have anything else on their record, are we getting somebody that we can't get back into the fight? You got to remember, it is easy to write a piece of paper and say, we are going to medically separate you because you are unable or unfit for duty. But you got to also realize this person went through boot camp, went through AIT, goes through all of this, and they are still expected, the service is expecting this person to serve. And so it's like, is the time lapse difference of getting her care and taking care of valuable to maybe get these people to come back 100% and fight, versus sending somebody through boot camp again, AIT, and getting them to fulfill her spot? That's a pretty big lapse in time and money. This type of thinking really does contribute to some of the stereotypes and stigmas that do go with having mental health things that occur in service, and obviously why we see a lot of people that do avoid going to mental health if they do have their issues. But that is a whole other video in itself. Being AWOL, being a medical issue, whatever else, let me know where you fall on the spectrum and what you think should happen in situations like this. And also, maybe if you have any things that you think could improve situations like this in regards to missing service members and things that we can do to facilitate finding them, etc. But as always, if you guys do like what we do on the channel, you can always support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits. On top of that, you can also support over at the YouTube join button below this video as well for special perks and benefits here on YouTube. As always, if you guys have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.